Hello and welcome. As usual, if you have any questions, please put them in the YouTube comment box so I can read them and answer them. We're going to start off with Bitcoin as usual. Just going to share my screen here. And I've got some good news. You might have seen my wedge in my previous streams, and I'm just going to keep going on about this because it's really important. We made a very large symmetric triangle, and we actually broke down. Now, I kind of expected the price to go back to the broken support, bounce there, and just continue dumping. But what actually happened is we got back into the wedge, and by this time it was clear this whole part here, all of this, was a fake out. And now we have actually broken out of the wedge. Now, to get our target, we're just going to take our Fibonacci retracement. We're going to pull it over this whole move. Hold on, because it's there. Oh, hold on. There you go. Take the bottom. And there we have our target. Our first target is going to be, I would say 11,000, but I'm just going to adjust this down all the way down to 10,000 because 10,000 is actually a very, very strong psychological level. On the shorter term, we do have some bearish divergence. So that means the RSI made a higher or a lower high, while the price made a higher high. This probably means we're going to have to go down into a retracement to test this support again. So in short, what this means is that I expect the price to go back down here into the old support and then all the way back up to our targets. This means a couple of things. Obviously, it is important to know that if we do reach the target of 10K, it does not mean we are out of the bear market. In fact, this would actually be confirmation of the bear market. In order to have a chance of getting out of the bear market, we really are going to have to, get to 11,000 at least, preferably over 11,800. Now, I'm not sure if this is the case, so I'm just going to play it safe, and I am going to aim for this 10K and just wait, see what happens, and we can continue other positions after that. So things are looking pretty good. Now, as you might have noticed, alts aren't doing so good. Alts are actually doing pretty bad. And this is always the case. This was also the case in the previous bull run of last year. First, Bitcoin is going to have to prove to everyone that it's going to sustain this bull market, because right now everybody is still afraid and they're just going to use this opportunity to actually dump their alts. So I think for 2 more weeks, maybe another month, people will continue to dump their alts, at least until Bitcoin starts retracing a little bit. And we're going to demonstrate this by looking at the charts. Obviously, gonna start off with Ethereum paired against USD. Now, probably you will find that this chart does not look too bad at all at the moment, which actually is the case. I'm going to remove my position and the alt fibs. 1 second, there we go. Here's my my case for Ethereum. Ethereum has only a few support levels left at this point. The key point at this moment is actually, between 400 and 360. I've actually started my position there back a while ago, and I'm still in this position. Now, I personally do not believe that Ethereum will breach these levels, because if it does, the real next support should be sitting at $219. And for me, it's just hard to believe Ethereum will go there. Of course, this is definitely a possibility, but it's something that we should, keep in our minds. But as long as we stay above this level, there's nothing to worry about, and this is actually a great level to build your position. Now, if we look at Ethereum paired against Bitcoin, And I'm just going to do this on Bittrex because this chart goes back quite a while. There's a couple of things that we have to put our attention to. Now, first of all, is the support, which has been breached at this very moment. Ethereum has breached support for Ethereum paired against Bitcoin. Now, we're obviously going to have to look for a next support. I'm not going to use support lines because, after this, one could argue that we're going to have to go down to 0.04, which might totally happen, obviously. But then again, there are definitely some horizontal levels that we have to check out. And most important one is 0.042. And here we go. 0.57. So that's the current position. At this point, it seems like this might potentially be a good buy. Obviously we've got this range. This is not one solid support line. This is a support range. We've tested it a couple of times in the past, like here, 2017, March, April, obviously November. We've actually tested it. We've tested it again in March. So this is a pretty good, strong level. As long as we stay within this range or above it, there's nothing to worry about. However, if we do breach it, then one should prepare himself for an Ethereum worth 0.04 Bitcoin. And this is not really surprising. I don't think there is a whole lot more to get from Ethereum, because if we do breach this all-time high here, then the next target could potentially be all the way up here, which would make the Ethereum market cap larger than the Bitcoin market cap, which basically means that Ethereum would have overtaken Bitcoin at this point. I don't think this will really happen, and therefore I think our plays with crazy Ethereum gains are done. There are some coins that I am more excited about, one of which is EOS. And I'm just going to pair this against USD. Okay, so EOS. For EOS, we've got our support sitting at about 7 USD. It appears as though we might actually be making an inverse head and shoulders right now, although this has not been confirmed, obviously. I'm going to draw this out. So here we go. It's a bit of a messy head and shoulders, but it doesn't really matter. If this head and shoulders turns out to be right, then our target, our first target, I should say, because I am like super excited about EOS, should be sitting at about 16 USD. And I think EOS will outperform like many other alts. And the reason is as following. Ethereum is not able to handle enough transactions at this moment. Maybe it is right now, but if we do get in another bull market, I expect this to be the bubble, the bull market, the craziest market that has ever been. And we're going to need something that can handle all this volume, all these transactions, all these people. And I think this will be EOS. And therefore, I've got my long-term bag, which I picked up at 130, sold about 80% at 22. And I'm looking to buy a new long-term bag for EOS. Now, I will actually buy this back the moment we do break this level over here, which is $9.14. And my target, my end of year target, will be sitting close to 33 USD. So this is for me personally. It's going to be a long-term hold. And, probably this will take all the way until November, December, by which our resistance line should be hitting 33 USD. If you're more into the short term, then obviously you can also take this play. Just put the 618 as your target. Previous high over here Sadly, I cannot show you a volume profile, but if I could, you would see that, you know, basically between 12 and 15, that's where most of the volume has been, apart from obviously the levels where we're at right now. So EOS is looking good. I do not expect support to be broken, just no way. And the only way is up, as far as I'm concerned. Obviously, I do make some mistakes sometimes, but it's looking super, super great. Yeah, okay. So we've got a request. Couple of requests actually. First one is Litecoin. Do these for you. I've said my buy range, and for the ones that have watched my previous live streams, if you bought, well done. My buy range is between $80 and $40. I know this is a wide range, but my eventual play will be to go for the 618. So I've been stacking up Litecoin here. And, you know, I think I'm done buying actually. We're actually breaking out of this range, or so it looks like right now. RSI is going up very, very well. It's looking pretty strong. And my target will be 254 at the end of the year. So for me personally, this is also a long-term play. Obviously, if you're a short-term trader, you might want to put your target at $108, which is the level we have breached. You know, like last month. And that might be a very good trade because I'm pretty confident we are going to have to retest this level USD wise. Next one is Icon. Good request. You know, there's something that worries me about this one. I've drawn out this wedge in the previous streams, but we seem to have broken the downside, basically invalidating this trade. So two things can happen here. It's going to bounce, making this a fake out, kind of like the Bitcoin symmetric triangle thing, and it's going to go up anyway, or it's just going to continue to dump because over here there is no support. There's barely any volume that happened here. You know, so if it's falling now, there's no telling where it will stop. You know, I chart based on data, look left for clues, but right now there is nothing I can look at except maybe this level over here, and then obviously the level of 152. This tells us absolutely nothing, so there's no point even putting lines there. So yeah, this is like something I would not buy at all right now. There's no clues on the left, and there's nothing I can tell you about this chart except that it's going down. Next, BNB. I'm like super excited for BNB, Binance Coin, one of the best performing charts or coins ever. Especially now it's dumping so hard. And there's one big difference with this coin, you know. Every coin is like pure speculation except Binance Coin. And why? Binance actually puts its profits and takes 50%, I believe, and buys up Binance Coin. So what that will create is immense upwards pressure on the Binance Coin. And maybe it's crashing now, but this doesn't matter at all. You know, if Binance just continues to exist, if it continues to make revenue, then this thing will make a new all-time high eventually. And if you consider that Binance made more profit than Deutsche Bank this year, then, you know, this should give you a sense of scale. And this is just something that I would always buy. Levels don't matter, and this will continue to pump anyway. So this is more a fundamental call. However, if I had to chart this, which I will do right now, then my target for this dump should be right here at the 05. So this could be a good buy level, and the 618. So any buy between these two levels are golden and should yield a lot of profits. Now, this is not something that you actually trade short term, because you should realize this coin has a lot of whales in it, and is heavily manipulated, so to say. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but that's something I can tell you. So yeah, Lux coin. I still own a ton of Lux, and I will continue to own a ton of Lux. This is more a fundamental call as well. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if we touch this low over here, but it doesn't matter. As soon as this thing gets on a decent exchange with good volume, then, you know, my target will be hit. And as you can see on the right, just going to draw my first target for Lux is here, 560,000 Satoshis. This call is purely fundamental. You know, this thing will eventually hopefully compete with EOS and IOST and all that. And talking about IOST, this is something I would like to personally show you. Like, this is one of my own gems. Let's see if we have something that has more history to it. Don't think so. No. Okay, so just going to activate the log scale. This should give us a better line. There we go. Here's the resistance. Unfortunately, we didn't really break it. But here's the deal, right? IOST has been dumping ever since the past 2 months. However, the RSI, you know, it's not a lot, but it is there. It's like diverging very heavily. Also, if we look at the unbalanced volume over here, you can see that even though the price dropped quite a bit, there barely were any significant sells. You know, this line actually shows us if money is flowing out of the market. If it's flowing out, it will go down. If there's money flowing into the market, it will go up. Okay? Now, this thing has barely moved. So even though the price has gone down, there is still enough buying pressure. And just like nulls, you know, like every platform coin like EOS, nulls, IOST, I do expect a new all-time high, but I just don't know when. So this is also in my cold storage. It's not going to be some short-term trade, but it's definitely something to watch. Now, one thing that might be a short-term trade is Zen. I've been shouting Zen for a whole year. You know, bought it like 1 year ago, never sold it, which was like super stupid. You know, but here's the deal: Zen versus Bitcoin. Zen is actually performing really, really well, and yet it has never mooned. You know, if we go to CoinMarketCap and we open up Zen, you can see that this thing has about 100 million market cap, and it has been at these levels like since forever, right? Now, here's the deal. It has been added to Binance, okay? Has been added to OKX, and these exchanges can bring a ton of volume. Now, obviously, this volume is not there right now, but once this thing starts to move, these exchanges can pump in like a ton of volume, and that's what I call volume potential. What is the market cap of a coin? How much volume is there? And what is the potential volume that could be there? Now, if we look at some of the top coins on Binance, like 50 million, 38 million, so that's like very good numbers. Now, once this thing starts to pump, and I'm just going to take the whole range this thing has been trading in. So let's take a decent range. Then my target, and I'm just going to remove the log scale to give you guys a better impression. My target is going to be the 1618, which is currently sitting at about 0.01 Bitcoin. And I'm pretty confident we're going to get there. This is also fundamental. You know, a lot of coins will pump during the next bull run, but keep in mind a lot of coins will also die. But this is one of those coins that has yet to be discovered and is doing really well. Let me just read the comments real quick. Oh, glad you can predict the future. Now, this is predicting possibilities, right? That's what I say about TA. This is not predicting the future. What this is predicting is possibilities. And if we take like Bitcoin paired against USD, we go there, we've broken the wedge, so the possibility of this thing continuing to 10K is far greater than the possibility of this thing just going to shit at this very moment. And you only have to be right 51% of the times in order to make profits. I've made some huge losses, but my profits were bigger and more often, so I make money, even though I also lose money. We have like 2 more requests. Cloak, Digibyte. Gonna start off with Cloak. Oh, got some bad news. Here's the deal, right? This whole zone is a massive, massive accumulation zone. Here. So depending on whether you believe in Cloak, and personally I'm like not a huge fan, but whether you believe in it, right here is the best zone to accumulate. Now there is one very, very obvious fact that we have to account for here. If we take the unbalanced volume, just going to enlarge this, you can see that there were a couple of like pump and dumps, right? Obviously, this is like will action, 100%. This is not natural. And then we have to ask ourselves, okay, what's happening here? Why all these wicks? What's going on here? Now, that's where the unbalanced volume comes into play. This unbalanced volume tells us that something or somebody has been accumulating a huge ton of Cloak, because just from this zone, I'm just going to take my date and price here. There we go. Here were bought 2 million Cloak coins. Then we had the next pump over here, bought 1.5 million Cloak coins. So these were bought and probably taken off the market. Then we have the epic climax here, about 2 million more coins bought. Over here, 1.2 million. So somebody is buying millions of these things. This is obvious whale action, and it's not something we should deny. It's just there on the crypto market. So what I'm going to assume is that somebody is actually accumulating this thing, potentially for a bull run or a fabricated bull run, pump and dump, whatever, I don't know. But that's actually what is happening here. So it looks pretty good, but there's not a whole lot I can say about this, because obviously somebody is controlling this market. It's very obvious. Monero and Stellar Lumen and Ripple. Those 3 are the final ones. And Monero is like, every time I'm charting it, I'm crying, because I have a wallet that is called BitMonero. That's it. And there is actually like 1,000 Monero in there, 2,000. And I forgot the password. So it's just there on the wallet and I'm unable to get it, which is like super sad, right? That's a ton of money. Yeah, Digibyte 2. Okay, don't worry. I'll do Digibyte 2. So for Monero, obviously we have a clear support here. I think it will go there like within a couple days. Once we get to support, don't be surprised if it gets breached. If it does get breached, then I truly believe it will be shortly. I think all the alts are going to breach support now, probably there will be a lot of buys, and it will regain control above support. And this is the part where all the whales come in. You know, they scoop up your sells, everybody's panic sells, and that's just what happens. Now, the thing about Monero is that it has a lot of competition. You know, Dash, uh, XVG, Zen, Zero Coin, blah blah blah. You know, so this is something that you only should buy if you truly believe that Monero has an edge and will dominate the market for privacy coins. So Digibyte, just going to open the unbalanced volume to see what's going on here. Oh, okay. So as I've said in my previous stream, this is not somewhere where you should buy Digibyte. In my opinion, personally, it's too risky. However, if you already bought it somewhere here or maybe at 100 satoshis, 200 satoshis, then this is absolutely worth holding on to reach our target, which is this black line here. This is the main resistance for Digibyte. It's quite likely that Digibyte will revisit these lands, this previous resistance, and touch it again. And I don't know if it's actually going to breach it because, you know, actually goes for a lot of coins. Digibyte's main exchanges are like Poloniex, Bittrex, Cryptopia, and all these exchanges are actually dying. They're losing users, they're losing volume, and they will drag down like a lot of coins to their death. So I think Digibyte needs a Binance in order to have a good chance of survival. VeChain, oh, the ultimate hype. But it's okay. 1 billion market cap, volume potential. Binance, Huobi, like a lot of volume potential. The volume just right now, it's not really there. It's like 1% of the market cap. This is not enough to sustain VeChain. And as I've said in my previous streams, my targets for VeChain will be the 786. Reason being, we already breached the 618. So that's over here. That's a price level of 18,500 satoshis, 19,000 satoshis. It's getting very close now. And as I've said, I will actually buy this. When we get there, I will buy the VeChain and I will just put it in cold storage for a week, maybe 2 weeks. And I'm pretty confident that this thing will like bounce very, very sharply. My target is 40,000 satoshis, making this a return of about 121%. I don't expect a new all-time high for now, because for that, I truly believe we are first gonna need an altcoin bull market. My fundamental picks are Luxcoin, Trade Token. Just go to trade.io. That's my current largest position. Actually, this week it surpassed my EOS position. So definitely Trade Token. EOS is a fundamental call. IOST, nulls. Those are all coins with great fundamentals. So for VeChain, bit more downside, almost there. For my personal target, we just have like 15 to 20% to go. But obviously, since we're already down 65%, you know, it shouldn't hurt too much. Mm-mm-mm. Okay, the last ones. and then I'll be on my way because I have like a lot of stuff to do. Really building hard on the crypto campus. If you don't know, I've got a group. It's free. Just go to cryptocampus.io and click get free access, and you can join the Discord, and it's like super great, right? So yeah, IOTA paired against Bitcoin. I'm not a fan of IOTA. I'm just gonna be like very honest here. I don't really like IOTA because it has some, some questionable abilities. Like for example, the owners have a master key. So technical analysis for IOTA. Right now, it's sitting at the very last support or Fibonacci level, the 236. I don't really expect this one to hold. I think it will fall through. If it does, I'm expecting a new all-time low paired against Bitcoin, maybe paired against USD as well. So it's something I would stay away from. I'm very sorry I have to say this, but yeah. And the final one, ADA. And be careful, guys. There's like Tron, VeChain, like all these coins that during the last bull run did 100x. Those are like dangerous coins. And they're very dangerous because, obviously they've made like a huge pump, and now these people are all stuck with coins. Everybody who bought there is like screwed, right? All these people are stuck. So this can create tremendous selling pressure for a very, very long time. Just for example, you will see if I draw a trend line, just very simple. Can't really find it. I'm just gonna have to switch this to log scale. There. Trend line. The support. Most likely, and I'm just gonna bet on this. Like, I think it will breach support here. Just for the following reason, like all these coins, they made 2,000% in a month, which is insane. This is not normal, okay? And it will take time for all these people that are stuck to exit. And the only way they're going to exit is if this support is breached. Everybody will assume this thing is going to shit. Then it will dump. People will buy here like whales, and it can continue upwards. That's called a shakeout, right? So yeah, let's see. So in short, I think we're actually gonna start the final shakeout for alts. A lot of people will be capitulating, like angry, salty Twitter people. But it's no problem. Just if you have a position and you believe in it, just hang on. Maybe like a couple weeks, you can see some pain. You can see people panic selling. But if people are panic selling, that's when you should be buying, right? So it's like a bright future ahead. And I think maybe within a couple months, we can go full bull again, because this Bitcoin ETF will be coming. It will be there. If they don't do it, people are gonna find another way to get involved, and that's something they definitely don't want. So I'm super bullish. Thank you for watching again. If you like this, please subscribe. It helps me a lot. And I'll see you guys again in 2 days. So have a great day.